Welcome to What I Listened to This Week. Welcome back to Sergio and Erik and John. Yay!
I'm back.
Yay!
You are alive.
Exciting.
I'm alive.
So we've got a full panel this week, which is really exciting. And as we've been doing this season, we're going to do a round robin of what's new and good. So I'm going to throw it to Sergio first. Sergio, what's new and good?
It's almost summer. I do like spring. Good biking weather. I think that's what's new and good. Just been biking a lot. Enjoying the gravel trails and the hail. Almost got.
Oh, yeah. I saw your pictures.
Plastered by hail up in Fort Collins yesterday. Oh, wow. Not yesterday, Sunday. Luckily, we found a barn and we spoke to the people. We're like, hey, could you shelter us? And like 10 seconds later, it started hailing and it was like 1/4-inch hail. Wow. So we survived, luckily. Anyway, yeah, that's what's new good. Been biking a lot.
Yeah, I saw your pictures. I drove through it.
Oh,
Not the same storm, but I drove through a similar one. It was about the same. It was probably maybe quarter, half inch.
Yeah, it was insane.
And I was fine. The car was fine because I was on 25, but there was a motorcycle in front of me and I was just sitting there like, good Lord, buddy. And he was not, I don't want to get preachy, but he wasn't wearing a helmet and he just had his vest like pulled over his head. And I'm just like, oh my God. I'm glad you found shelter though. Jesus.
Was the road straight so we didn't have to see?
No, because it was through all that Loveland massive stuff. I don't know how he was doing it.
That's crazy.
But anyway, it was pretty scary. Anyway, glad you're okay.
Me too.
Erik, what's new and good?
I want to give a shout out to my friend Jackson Finken, who graduated from 5th grade today.
Oh, Jackson.
Yeah.
Nice job.
Yeah, and he's going on to middle school. He's a kid who's a friend of my good friends. Or he's a grandchild. And I used to take care of him when he was a baby.
Aww.
And now he's a kid. And he's a great kid. So just shout out to Jackson.
Sweet.
Shout out, Jackson. Good
Shout
job
out to
with 5th
Jackson.
grade.
Hey, Jackson.
Get ready for junior high. It's coming in hot. All right, John, what's new and good?
All right. You helped me find my new and good thing. I'll do a shout out too. The guy that I had, sort of a young kid working on my last film, was part of the 48-hour film project in Denver. And their film won for the state of Colorado. And then they went to Seattle for the world competition. And they were selected to go to Cannes. And so now they're at the Cannes Film Festival.
Wow.
Damn.
This Amaro?
Mikey Hardesty.
Okay.
Yeah, Amaro and Mikey were both working on this film. But so
That's awesome.
just amazing.
Huge shot. Yeah.
That's amazing. What's the film called?
My film is called Now versus Then. Yeah. So, and it's also going to be broadcast on Rocky Mountain PBS in June. So it just got selected for a thing down there. So that's cool. Yeah.
Nice.
Sweet.
Support your local PBS station
There you
and
go.
call your Congress critters and tell them how important it is.
Yeah.
The critter.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Wow.
Thanks.
Man, my new and good thing is not shouting out anybody except for myself. But springtime, which means the garden is going, and this is like my favorite time of year for the garden because everything is like in nice, neat rows because everything's like sprouting from how I planted it and everything's like all nice and organized and it looks so clean. No production really yet, but all the green parts just look so nice and just really excited. The potatoes are huge, the onions are huge, the radishes are coming in, and tomatoes and peppers are in the ground. So, just always get so excited this time of year. It's like I can taste it. It's almost here. So
Stay away, hail.
yeah, stay away, hail. Yeah, that was me on Sunday. It was like I was like running out to the backyard and putting little pots over everything because I don't have a great hail setup. But yeah, stay away, hail. Cool, awesome. Well, lots of new and good. Let's get to some new and good music.
Yeah. And I think we're going to continue repeating how we've been doing. So we just listen to it. And then
listen.
if it's your song, don't talk.
Don't talk. And it goes to commentary immediately so that we don't skew the opinions of the panelists.
Oh, I see.
So I think Eric's probably up first.
I think so.
So yeah. Well,
Time to get skewered. No, just kidding. All right. The name of the first song is called Enlazan las tinieblas by the Mars Volta.
who's gonna go first?
I feel like my ears experienced LSD for the first time.
So I was gonna say I think I might have said this in the Slack channel, but I haven't thought about the Mars Volta in so long. But man, my like freshman, sophomore year in college was like all about the Mars Volta and like drugs. That wasn't really what my focus was, but like that's the correlation I have with them. But yeah, it's pretty wild, kind of all over the place. I kind of like and it's like meant to kind of be sort of like, what's the word I'm looking for?
Spatially.
Yeah, like kind of
left
jumping
or right.
around left to right, like speaker. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's definitely like one of those songs that feels like an experience more than like I'm not gonna be able to hum back any of that to you, really. But it's like, it's definitely like, yeah, it's kind of like you got thrown into like an aquarium of like weird drugs and fish and fluorescent things. I don't know, drugs.
Yeah, it was really fun. It was funky. Yeah. I don't know. I kind of want to, I've never heard of them
I like
before.
the bass line.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
It kind of reminded me of like being in Meow Wolf.
Oh, yeah, that's a
little
good
bit.
that's a good analogy. It's like the music version of Meow Wolf. Yeah, I like that.
I thought it would be, for some reason, I was thinking about driving in a car and listening to that, and the separation, if you don't have your headphones on. And I felt it very urban party Friday night soundtrack, like you're heading out for the evening. And it's very up music. You can really feel a lot of energy in it. So, no, definitely liked it. And the bass line really stood out.
Yeah. Yeah, I
think
like them.
What I don't like is I loved all the organic sort of like percussion sounds, almost like they're playing buckets and all sorts of things. But then when they start throwing in the computer, like, almost sci-fi stuff, I don't like that. But that's just my thing, But otherwise, I thought it was, and they only did that a little bit of that in the end, and I was kind of like, I wish I didn't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the story behind it for me is, first of all, I was writing, a translation of the title of the album and of the cut, and my pen blew up, so I've got
Oh, man.
So I thought that I had put everything that I'd written down in my back pocket, which I had not.
No.
So I figured you could tell me what an approximate translation is.
I don't know if I know that vocabulary. Let me see. Let me find the song again. Enlazan las tinieblas. I don't.
Yeah, it was a shot. I had it all done, and I'm sorry I missed
Something
it.
with clouds or fog?
Mazad is like a link.
Like darkness, shadow. Yeah. Anyway, so I was my favorite sort of electronic group is Aphex Twin. And I've been listening to a lot of old Aphex Twin lately, and the algorithm says, well, if you like Aphex Twin, you'll like Bonobo, Illuminator, Tycho, and it popped up with this one. I said, well, I've heard this name, but I've never heard this group. And I've been listening to this album, and if you listen to the album, it's kind of a concept, metaphysical, ugly romance album. And it's sort of fascinating to listen to. I liked this cut because I like the percussion and how strange it sounded. So
Yeah.
Just where did that cut appear on
It's
the
the
list
third.
of tracks? The third one.
yeah,
Interesting.
Okay. Yeah.
yeah.
So it's it's a good one. Usually like the meat of them are like 1, 3, and 4
Yeah.
on an album. So yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, that's how I got to that. But I liked it. I will listen to these guys definitely again, along
cool.
with Illuminator, Bonobo, Tycho, and more Aphex Twin.
Yeah. I definitely recommend doing it while clam baking your car. Which I think is called hot boxing here in Colorado. I think it's
Clam
Clam
bacon.
baking.
Never heard
I'm
that.
from New England. That's what we call it there.
Yeah.
We do Rocky Mountain oysters here.
No, I'm just kidding. Also, Aphex Twin, I haven't thought about them in like probably since like sophomore year of college too. That's a throwback. I feel like they were really big in the early days of the internet. Like I feel like there were like early YouTube videos or like we call them memes now that somehow
Yeah.
involved their music. I can't think of any right now, but for some reason that's ringing a bell. But yeah, interesting.
I guess la tiniebla means darkness or dark. So it kind of translates to like darkness links, the darkness links, or the obscurity links. I don't know. It's interesting.
If you listen to the whole thing as
Or
like
shadows, maybe. I don't know.
you were listening to Tommy, some sort of big concept album. It's got that element in it, except it's really sort of dark and weird, which is the part that I really liked about it.
Yeah.
Could also mean shadows. So maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I wish I'd brought my notes, but
That's okay.
All right.
anyway.
The A for effort. I would love to listen to this on vinyl and like just like sit on the floor in the middle of the room. And just like
The sound
have it
is awesome.
surround you. Yeah. Now I'm going to look out for Mars Volta vinyl.
And you can't listen to that on 2. You got to turn it up to 11.
Yeah. Absolutely.
try it
Neighbors
upstairs.
pounding on your doors.
Yeah. Suck it, neighbors.
Yeah, with that bass. Boom, 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 boom. Is that the bass? No, it's the cops at the door.
It's ice.
It's ice.
Oh, no.
Yeah, there you
Oh
go.
no, it's too real.
You just have to make it dark. You have to make it tiniebla.
Cool. Thanks, Erik.
All right, on to the next one. Next song is called Labor or Labor.
She's
Labor.
British, so it's like
Yeah, I figured labor in British. British spelling by Paris Paloma.
Why are you hanging on so tight to the rope that I'm hanging from? Off this island, this was an escape plan. This was an escape plan. Carefully timed it, so let me go and dive into the waves below. Who turns the orchards? Who fixes up the gables? Emotional torture from the heavy high table. Who fetches the water from the Rocky Mountain spring and walk back down again to feel your words and their sharp sting? And I'm getting fucking tired. The capillaries in my eyes are bursting. If all love died, would that be the worst thing? For somebody I thought was my savior, sure made me do a whole lot of labor. The callous skin on my hands is cracking. If our love ends, would that be a bad thing? And the silence once I bet chamber, you made me do too much labor. Too much labor. Apologies for my tongue. Never yours. Busy lapping from flowing cup and stabbing with your fork. I know you're a smart man. I know you're a smart man. And weaponize the false incompetence. It's dominance under a guy. If we had a daughter, I'd watch and could not save her. The emotional torture from the head of your high table. She'd do what you taught her. She'd meet the same cruel fate. So now I've gotta run so I can undo this mistake. At least I've gotta try. The capillaries in my eyes are bursting. If our love died, would that be the worst thing? For somebody I thought was my savior, sure make me do a whole lot of labor. The callous skin on my hands is cracking. If our love ends, would that be a bad thing? And the silence once I bet chamber, you make me do too much labor. All day, every day, therapist, mother maid, nymph and a virgin, nurse and a servant, just an appendage, live to attend him so that he never lifts a finger. 24/7 baby machine, so he can live out his picket fence dreams. It's not an act of love if you make her, you make me do too much labor. All day, every day, therapist, mother maid, nymph and a virgin, nurse and a servant, just an appendage, live to attend him so that he never lifts a finger. 24/7 baby machine, so he can live out his picket fence dreams. It's not an act of love if you make her, you make me do too much labor. The days in your eyes are bursting. If I love her, I understand it's something. Just an idea, live to a savior, sure that he never a whole lot of labor. 24/7 baby machine, so he can live out and his picket fence dreams. It's not a sign of loss, I can shake her. You make me do too much labor.
Well, that was disheartening.
Bringing the mood down, surrounded by darkness.
Yes.
Portrait of a bad relationship. I like the sound, though. Wow. Yeah, what a nice recording that was. Lots of space, great bass line. It was, and the lyrics were great. It's just the portrait that it painted was like, oh, gosh, you make me do all this. I got babies. I got to
24/7.
24/7. I gotta make this. I have to portray this person who I don't especially like, and you're making me do it, and it's not fun. And but it was a great recording. Like her voice too.
I want to, echo everything that Erik said. It kind of reminded me of maybe Adele almost.
It
maybe
did a little. It did a little.
but more modern. I don't know.
I thought you were going to say a more mommy.
A mommy version of Adele. I don't know if she has kids or not. So I don't. Maybe she is a mom.
Let's hope not.
But
Just
I do want to. Yeah, I want to go back and listen to it again and pay more attention to the lyrics, or at least read them while I'm listening to it. But yeah, that was wow. I really enjoyed that.
No, I did too. I love the bass, and I thought the sound was great. It was kind of, I got hung up initially with the too much labor, thinking of the Labor Party and how this could be used. How this could be used as a commercial. Oh, we've had too much labor. It's time for the conservatives, But how. But it's like, oh, it's not about politics. It's about babies, which is political. So, but I...
Is the Labor Party even in, are they in
Oh,
charge
that's
right now?
Yeah, they are in charge.
I haven't been following
Yeah.
it. Okay.
Yeah, they
Interesting.
are the prime ministers from the Labor Party. They have, and then they got the Tories or the Conservatives on the other side. So it's like too much labor. They just got started. Give them a break.
So I heard this on the radio a couple of weeks ago. Actually, I feel like it was right after we did this recording of the last episode. And immediately I was like, I'm bringing this one next time. So I was like locked and loaded. I think it was one of those songs where when it came on, I wasn't really paying attention to it too much. Because I like her voice and I like the sound, but the get-go, it sort of has that same tone that like a lot of indie female singers sort of have. I can't ever really describe what it is, but it didn't really jump out at me as something particularly unique. But I think the like chanting part 3/4 of the way through the end is when I like really started paying attention to the song, and then I was like, oh, this is really interesting. I think I was driving and like I heard 24/7 Baby Machine and I was like, what? What is this about? And so then I like started paying attention and looked it up. But yeah, I mean, I think it's very dark. I think it makes me think of like a lot of women that I know who have either gone through similar terrible relationships or are going through them right now. And I think that's what made me like, what piqued my interest is I was like, well, I've heard this before. But I think I don't know, was it last time you were here? Maybe it was the time before that, but we were talking about protest music and Erik brought that Rage song. And I feel like, I don't know, there's a lot of rage right now. And so I hear a song like this and I immediately like glom onto it. I'm like, yes, let's get really angry. And then I found like a bunch of videos online where she's performing live and like entire concert venues are like chanting that whole chant part. And it's like, yeah.
So she's big. We just don't know her yet.
Yeah, so this is her debut album. She's like super, I want to say she's like 23 or 25.
Wow.
Like she's super young. And I think she's been bigger in the UK. I don't think she's really made it over here. All of the clips that I saw, she was playing in like Scotland and Ireland and things like that. So I think she's a little bit bigger over there than here. I don't really know too much about her. She also did a song for the Lord of the Rings, like it's like an animated movie or show or something. It's like the War of
The War of the Rohirrim.
Yeah. She has a song on that soundtrack.
Okay.
But other than that, like I don't really know like too much about her other than like finding YouTube videos and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, I just really like the sound. I love the lyrics. Anything that uses bed chambers, like that's cool. And yeah, it sort of has this like almost like medieval feel to it, but I don't know if that's like the lyrics or what it is, but there's something about it that like gives me that vibe. I don't know why, but yeah, I like angry women. So yeah.
Alanis Morissette.
I want to join there. yeah, exactly.
Yeah, print that quote out.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Just want to be angry anyway. Yeah. Anyway, that's that.
Anything else?
Good.
Cool.
Yeah, I think so.
Let's move on.
Sweet. Well, not sweet. Whatever.
24/7 baby machine.
Maybe this song is not a good follow-up to that, but this song is called Big Town Banky Blaine's Rockabilly Barbecue.
Definitely.
I'll say that again. Big Town Banky Blaine's Rockabilly Barbecue by Bear Ghost.
Cooking smells to me just like a plebeian feast. Bring on my dad, prosperous behind it. Come on down, bring your family. What's the one who wanna stay afloat? Just one wants a place to perpetuity. It's time to rock and roll. His opponent is reeling. I'm well protected by this glass ceiling. Knock 'em silly. To the left side of this lose the win. Order up. Hot dog, give a pencil with eyes. The irony blinks in the crook in his eye. You Mr. Grateful, you ain't the one to die. Big town, big and Blaine's Rockabilly Barbecue. Chop, chop, get 'em up on the pie. Some pile of green puts a hole in the side. Bring 'em up, it's about a day at a time. Big town, big and Blaine's Rockabilly Barbecue. Well, slow, and breeze to perfection. Another record for the Terry and Breeze. Turns around by the five from the first verse. More expendable poverty, properly public. You go ahead and throw 'em a bone if you want to go. Well, you got the money, and we'll see you at. So this is our fate, scrapping for scraps below the table, so we can live to fight another day. Hot dog, give a bustle alive. The irony bleeds from the crook in his eye. You must be grateful, you ain't the one to die. Big town, big and Blaine's Rockabilly Barbecue. Chop, chop, get 'em up on the pie. Some pile of green puts a hole in the side. Bring 'em up, we the long drive. Big town, big and Blaine's Rockabilly Barbecue. Big town, big and Blaine's Rockabilly Barbecue. Fight, two, fight, red, white, blue, fight. One fight, two, fight, red, white, blue, fight. One fight, two, fight, red, white, blue, fight. Big town always does it right. This can't
Whoa. Is that from a musical?
I can't talk.
Well, I mean, you can acknowledge whether it is
No,
or
it's
not.
No,
Okay.
It's not.
Because I'm like picturing like a Broadway stage where there's like 80 different people on stage doing different, like one's playing an organ, one's playing guitar, one's playing drums, and then there's other people like dancing and throwing hot dogs at each other and like trying to grill, and there's somebody with a gun. But it's all like very intricately choreographed because that's what it felt like. It's like chaos, but it's organized. Like there's so much going on, but they're like, it's all like layered in a way that 90% makes sense.
Yeah. I think, chaos. Complete chaos, holding that energy, which it does well. That, it doesn't have any lulls. I mean, that is just a giant 430 crescendo, It just keeps going, and it just holds that energy. I really liked it. But I was wondering about like, okay, we're going to rehearse this tonight.
Right?
Or what band would ever cover that?
Right. What does it look like live?
Yeah, I was wondering.
Is it like polyphonic? Like we need like 40 people on stage to do all the things.
Yeah. But some of the vocals reminded me of Freddie Mercury.
That's exactly
Yeah.
what I was
There's
going
like
to say.
Yeah,
couple
absolutely.
of Freddie Mercury notes. Once again, huge bass running through this. But yeah, the rockabilly, and it just the title helps you frame it.
Yeah.
And helps you see some images of what's going on. But yeah, no.
And who's the guy that they got to like replace Freddie Mercury? But like,
Adam Lambert.
yeah, that was like, I got those vocals too, but then I was like, oh, it's because I'm thinking of Freddie Mercury.
Yeah, it sounded like the great Lost Queen Halloween song.
I love that. Yeah.
But I liked it. It was just so weird, but so energetic. But again, how do you do that on stage? How do you have 40 people for it?
Right.
How do you choreograph that? It was great.
I
want
the little squirrel nut zippers.
Yeah,
Yeah, a little
like
bit.
little bit of that.
Yeah.
I want to see the MTV Unplugged version of this.
Yeah, acoustic. Which is bad. With just one classical guitar
Yeah, and that's it. And
and a harmonica.
yeah.
Unplugged.
Yeah, so this was Bear Ghosts. I believe they're from Phoenix, Arizona.
Oh.
They call themselves adventure rock, which I guess you can call yourself whatever you want. I've never heard that genre per se. This song in particular was mixed by Jeremy Parker, who I guess did Evanescence.
Nice.
And was mastered by Dan Scheich, who did Mayday Parade. That was kind of some alternative stuff back in the day. And according to Bear Ghosts, so this song, Big Town Banky Blaine's Rockabilly Barbecue, which I think is an awesome name, tells the story of an eatery patroned by the wealthy upper class who pay to watch the less fortunate engage in fights to the death. The winner gets paid and gets to survive until the next fight, and the loser gets cooked and eaten.
Oh, my goodness.
And I was like, I didn't know any of that, and I was like trying to figure out what the song meant, and you can kind of hear when it kind of transitions to maybe more of the alternative side of thing when he's just doing a solo, kind of pretending to be or acting as they're the lower class or something like that. Oh, don't eat me. At first I thought it was they were maybe personifying the animals or something like that, but anyway, I thought, it has a lot of energy, very out there, that kind of mixes a lot of different genres. I've not tried to find a live version of it, but I think it'd be really cool. This is from their 2023 album.
How many
called,
people in this group?
I don't know. I'm guessing 4 or 5. But yeah, the album's called Jiminy. Came out in 2023. They started touring last year, and I think they're touring again this year. But yeah, if you like this, they have a lot of other really interesting songs too.
Did you see the music video for this one?
You know, there is no music video.
Wow.
It's just lyrics. Yeah.
They can't. You can't match it.
No, I
No,
can't with
it's
yeah,
like too
yeah.
much to perform against
Yeah,
or
yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Man, crazy things happen in the desert like this music when you live in Phoenix. When it's 175 degrees and you're tripping balls because you're so hot. This is the kind of music that you
Eating
write.
less fortunate people
Yeah.
with mustard.
Wild. What a wild song. Man.
All right. On that note, unless is there anything else? No. Spotify's being slow today. All right. The last song is called "Over Everything" by Courtney, Barnett, and Kurt Vile.
When I'm all alone on my own by my lonesome and there ain't a single nother soul around, I wanna dig into my guitar, bend a blues riff that hangs over everything.
By myself and it's daytime, 'cause down under, oh, wherever it is, I'll live when it's evening. You know, I speed read the morning news and come up with my own little song. Oh, so too. When I step outside to a beautiful morning where the trees are all wagging, my head flag waving, the scenery raging, my love love cascading in the smog hangs over everything.
When I'm outside in a real good mood, you could almost forget about all the other things, like a big old ominous cloud in my periphery. Don't wanna talk about it. Some things I said. When I was young, I liked to hear music blaring, and I wasn't caring. Too new to my jams with earplugs. But these days I inhabitate a high-pitched ring over things. So these days I plug 'em up.
When I'm struggling with my songs, I do the same thing too, and I crunch them up in headphones, 'cause why wouldn't you? You could say I hear you on several levels at high decibels. Over everything.
That was a lot of guitars. I didn't understand what the lyrics were talking about, especially, but I love the sound of that, of all that people play guitars in different keys, and it sounded really expansive and just, I sort of country, but sort of bluesy, but sort of folky. Yeah, it just had a lot going on. And John and I were talking about it when we were talking about it earlier, but the voices of the singers did sound very alike.
So I think this is a first for our podcast. We have a repeat artist.
Oh, we do.
Yeah.
We do?
Yeah, we had Courtney Barnett on like 2 years ago. I feel like it was season 1. I brought a song by her. But anyway, that's exciting. Because like you were not even around for that.
It was not.
I don't know where you were.
Oh, yeah.
Gone again.
No.
Avant Gardener.
Yeah, it's from her. I think it's like her first album, maybe. But I don't know this song. But it's interesting because when I saw you send it, I was like, oh, that's a good pairing. Because I like didn't know that they did this song, but like I know them both independently, and I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. They have very similar like vocal. The way I think of their vocal styles is like, I know this isn't true, but it's like, I don't care.
No, I agree.
Like, whatever. I sound like what I sound like. This is what I sound like today. Deal with it. Like, that's always the vibe I kind of get from both of them.
Kind of like Dylan.
Yeah, like Bob Dylan. Yeah, exactly.
Neil Young,
Yep. That was exactly my thought too. But yeah, so it's like, it's a good pairing. And I know you said expansive, Erik. I also had that same thought of like, because I also think of them both as like not simple musicians, but like, yeah, it's like a lot of guitar and it's like pretty straightforward, but like they fill a space with so much sound, even though it's like, yeah, mostly guitar. There's that like, there was like the fuzzy, what's the word? Like they were using like a pedal or a filter or something sort of towards the end that added even more into the sound. That was kind of cool. But yeah, I liked sort of how like lush it feels despite being like relatively simple. It's not like there was like a string section and an organ and all this kind of stuff. It's, pretty lush for that. I think my only complaint is like, I felt like it went on just a teeny bit too long. Yeah. Like maybe 15 seconds, 20 seconds could have cut towards the end, but otherwise, yeah.
This might be one of the longest songs on here. Maybe 6 minutes and 19 seconds.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe you brought something longer than that one time, but
I think once early
days. Yeah. It did sound familiar. Like I've heard it before. Maybe it was because you had brought Courtney Barnett earlier, but it did remind me of like Dylan, and it felt like the song was like made in the 80s or something. I don't know. Or 90s. I don't know. It didn't feel like today's song, I guess. But I don't know when it was made.
Yeah. No, I think the theme resonates for today. I don't want to talk about it. Big old dark cloud on our periphery. I just think about Washington. But the Courtney Barnett is a kind of a punk Australian, and Kurt Weill is from Pennsylvania, and the two of them look so much like brother and sister. They are. It's amazing that they both sing the same, and that they both have amazing senses of humor. This is a whole album called, I think it's called A Whole Lot of Sea Lice. And
Sounds like a Courtney Barnett album.
All the tracks are great.
Yeah.
Courtney Barnett, she has some great titles. One of her albums is Sometimes I Sit in a Chair and Think, and Sometimes I Just Sit. Which I just love that. But kind of stoner. I felt like a real grunge, twangy sound wall that was punky too. It had this sort of just fill in the space, and I heard this song a long time ago, and it came back up, and I was like, yeah, no, this is perfect for today. So perfect for the mood.
Yeah, that like fuzzy is the fuzzy pedal or whatever. I'm not being articulate in what that is, but yeah, that's very, very punk. And that's that's sort of how I think of her. It's like punk adjacent. But yeah, her lyrics are always, I remember when I brought her on the song on a couple of years ago, we talked for a long time about her lyrics and like her album names. Yeah, they're all super funny. But yeah, I don't know this album, but now I really want to listen to it because it's like one of those things where it's like you don't really think about. I wouldn't have thought about the two of them coming together like without this album coming out, and then when it happens, you're like, oh my god, of course.
If they ever got married, they should do a DNA test because the babies will be funny.
Pennsylvania is the Australia of Northeast United States.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So,
Nice.
yeah.
Awesome.
Well, there it all is.
Alrighty.
That's what
Okay,
we
Mel.
listened to last week.
Yeah, that's what we listened to this week. Anything else? Any other comments on the music we heard today?
No, I don't. It was all good.
It was all
Different
good.
genres.
Yeah, good variety today.
Maybe there was an underlying theme of despair. I don't know. Maybe not.
They're all pretty energetic
Yeah.
in their own way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even if the energy is negative, it's still energy, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Alrighty. Well, thanks everybody for listening and tuning in. Don't forget, if you have something you want us to listen to, you can drop a comment below the YouTube video or send us an email, hello@longmountainpublicmedia.org. Until next time, bye.
See ya.